Ever feel so frustrated you can't focus for prayer that it feels like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall? You can't stop the flurry of thoughts ranging from what your day ahead looks like, to that email that needs your attention, to that last cat video you saw on YouTube. If you struggle with distraction in prayer, you're not alone. In fact, most believers say it's one of their biggest struggles. Even Jesus, who faced every temptation that we do, had to escape the crowds and distractions for private prayer. So in this video, I'm going to share 7 tips for fighting distraction in prayer. Stay tuned until the end because I finish with what I found to be most encouraging. And because I know why you clicked on this video, you need to grow in this area, why not pause the video and ask God for his help? Okay, we're back. The first tip is, remember who you pray to, God your Father. This is the most important thing about prayer and why Jesus taught his disciples to pray by beginning with our Father in heaven. Often we focus on our actions and words in praying that we forget that at its simplest, prayer is responding to God who started the conversation with us in his word. Number 2, diagnose why you may be distracted. Look at the voluntary and involuntary distractions you face most often. What are the distractions that you can control? These are the voluntary distractions. I'm tempted to let my phone or a noisy environment keep me from focusing in prayer. But there's a reason Jesus told us to go into our rooms, shut the door, and then pray. Involuntary distractions are the ones we don't have control over. These are the random thoughts that pop into our minds of what chores we need to do or who we need to text back. Sometimes these thoughts are important. And while these distractions aren't necessarily sinful, we do need to find ways to keep praying and not let them derail us. I'll share a couple ideas for that later on. We may be distracted for prayer for simple reasons, like we have no mental energy left after a long day of work. Or the root may be a more complex issue in our lives. Is some of your distraction in prayer caused by responsibility avoidance, idolizing your work and thus thinking about it all the time, even during prayer, or just plain laziness? Maybe deep emotional or physical pain prevents greater focus. Ask God for wisdom and his help in working through the heart issues that cause distraction. 3, optimize technology for prayer. Even if we follow the spirit of Jesus' command in Matthew 6:6 for private prayer, bringing a phone into our prayer room can bring in the whole world with us. That's why I recommend disconnecting entirely from technology when possible. Turn off your phone, put it in airplane mode, or put it in the other room. You may also want to limit technology use throughout the day because if you're like me, you realize the more you're constantly distracted with technology, the more likely you will be distracted during the spiritual disciplines of prayer and Bible reading. But there are also tech tools that help us foster faithful prayer. I love the PrayerMate app because it helps me organize a myriad of prayer requests and priorities into simple prayer cards that I regularly cycle through. This app recommendation comes with a caveat. I have to exercise self-control using it because it is on, after all, the most distracting device known to mankind, the smartphone. 4, find an off-ramp for distractions. If you're wondering, what about the distracting thoughts that are important? Hey, I need to return that call. I can't forget to pay that bill. If important thoughts come to mind while praying, write them on a piece of paper and then return to prayer. And after prayer, organize those thoughts that you wrote down. This keeps one small thought from hijacking a perfectly good prayer time.
Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
5, when distracted, reengage. This is perhaps the simplest tip. When you notice that you lose focus in prayer, refocus. Run back to God. Number 6, find tools to help you focus. This point is probably the most practical. And here are a few tools to consider. First, use a mental path for prayer. You might simply pray the scriptures. You might follow the petitions of the Lord's Prayer as a template for prayer. You might pray using the ACTS acronym or create your own path. A path helps us focus and refocus after being distracted. Second, write down your prayers. A journal, a word processor, or a piece of paper are all that you need to scribble down your prayers to God. This practice helps visual learners like me because writing focuses my mind on the words that I write. And an added advantage of writing down your prayers is that it enables us to see how God has answered past prayers and how we have grown over time. Third, set an alarm. For some reason, it's easier for me to focus when I know that there's a time limit to my prayer session. Maybe I work better under deadlines. An added benefit is that often when the timer buzzes, I add more time to the timer because I'm already warmed up and I've entered into a flow state of prayer. 4, go for a walk. This could be walking around your neighborhood or simply pacing in your living room. My practice is to write scriptures and requests on a note card and refer to it as I walk. Walking takes me away from the many distractions that I face at home, and my note card gives me the mental structure I need to have a profitable prayer time. For more paths to take in prayer and practical ways to focus, read my book, When Prayer is a Struggle, a Practical Guide for Overcoming Obstacles in Prayer. 7. Realize God is honored by our fight. Have you ever wondered why God doesn't remove all our distractions with a snap of his fingers? I mean, he has the power to do that. I think one reason he doesn't is because he is pleased with our fight to focus on him, because our efforts tell him that he is worth it. Our fight to focus in prayer is really a fight to worship. So let this encourage you. You may battle to squeak out just a few sentences or even a word in prayer, but God can hear you. And he can change your life and even the world through that prayer. Just because distractions land a punch against you doesn't mean you can't fight back in God's strength and serve them the knockout blow. So whatever you do, don't give up in prayer. Keep praying. How do you fight for focus in prayer? Leave a comment in the comment section. Before you go, watch this video where I tell a story of a time when prayer made my anxiety worse. See you next time.